Watch out for my life.
My name is Martha Wainwright, and I'm a singer-songwriter. Why is the record called Goodnight City? Many of the songs on the record have to do with my kids, or at least my songs do. And my youngest son at the time was saying Goodnight City a lot, and I just liked the sound of the phrase. And I thought it was in keeping with the subject matter of the record, as well as sort of the concept of an end of an era, which I think is sort of a theme of the album too. I guess I mean that it's a new stage in my life. My first record, which came out just over 10 years ago, I think was a very good expression of who I was at the time. I was 28 when that record was made. And it's sort of a girl, a woman around that age, around 30, and her conflicts and problems. And this is sort of a 10-year later thing, and sort of a woman around the age of 40. I just turned 40 a few months ago, and I just find that it represents a new stage in my life. You know, maybe I return away from you know, a wilder way of being and a more mature type of existence, I guess. I feel better in this time in my life than ever before. And I think you can hear that on the record. It's a little lighter than a lot of my other records. It's more forward-gazing. It's a little bit happier. What is my creative process? Well, it's pretty loose. It involves a lot of pacing. Pick up the guitar for a while and then pace back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. A lot of talking to myself. Being a mother has certainly changed my music. I think that my songs are a bit softer on this record than they have been in the past, because the subject matter is the children, you know, you know, I'm not angry at them yet. They're still very little, you know. But I don't imagine ever writing a mean song about your kids. But you know, I think before I had more targets, you know, and of course now. I want to protect the kids and make sure they're all right. So you know, I'm afraid, you know, for them in terms of the difficulties that life can show. But I think that there's just a general softening of of how I speak because of their existence. It's nice to finally have two people in my case, that I come before me, ahead of me, you know. It's more interesting to me. That being said, I think it's really important, and it was always important for me to have both things, and I didn't have children in order to not have a music career, you know, and vice versa. And I know that when I watched my mother on stage, or when I listened to her records, I was very proud that she was my mother, but I was also very proud that she was her own person and her own artist. And that, you know, hopefully that's sort of, you know, what I would hope my kids think about me. I'm sure that at some point they'll hate me too, but that's totally natural. It is important for me to work with my female family members, because that's sort of what I have in my ear, you know, because my mother and her sister sang together, the McGarrigle sisters. And so I'm very used to that sound and that relationship. And my cousin Lily, who's Anna McGarrigle's daughter, was always my backup singer for many, many years, and we sang together. And my family, because there were three daughters, my mother had two sisters, there was just a lot more women. There's a kind of a matriarchal existence. And so there was a lot of kind of strong female powerhouse roles. I specifically wanted to work with a woman for my last record, Come Home to Mama, because I think that the subject matter was kind of quite female. It was a lot of the record was about my mother dying and my mother's passing, and I just felt I needed to be taken care of a little bit, you know. And Yuka Honda from Chibo Mato is somebody I've always looked up to musically, and just her spirit and her vibe. You know, she would make me tea, and she was very kind to me and gentle with me, and I really, really needed it because I was really, really fragile. Do I think my kids will be musical or family or continue the family tradition? At first I didn't want them to necessarily, because I think it can be a very hard life, you know, there's not a lot of security in it. But it would be a shame to not see them at least try, you know, because it is kind of an amazing thing, and obviously I'm very connected to my family through music.
Walking down